Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo's Let's Talk Football, and one half of this terrific tag team that is Washington Football Weekly. You see who I'm with, my guy, Will Kramer. Will, we're at halftime. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Commanders halftime report, and I just told you off camera that I tried to get ahead of it. You know, about 5 minutes left before half. And tried to put up a little 14-14 halftime total, and then all of a sudden they get 2 touchdowns on us real quick. So,
how did that last one get scored on?
Tinsley
touched. I saw the one touchdown. Wasn't that 21?
Yeah, and then Tinsley got it again. Hartman throws an interception on the first play in there, and then next play they go deep to Tinsley. He catches it over of the corner and toe taps it. Yes,
nice job.
Yes,
nice job by him. Nice job.
Yeah. And then looks at our fans like, you could have had me. You had me here. What are we doing? So outside of the last 2 touchdowns, give me your thoughts. Let's recap this first half. What did you think from the first half?
Offense looked pretty good. Running game looked pretty good.
Yes.
Still don't know how our passing game's going to be since we didn't throw the ball one time.
Nope.
You know, but the starting offense looked good. You know who's the underrated signing of the offseason? John Bates.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
On 2 of those long runs by Debo and Krosky Merritt, Bates is in there sealing people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Big time plays from him.
Oh yeah, and on that first run, the one by Rodriguez, you see him come in there and hit the trap block, and that's what sprung him. And you're just sitting there, and I remember going back look at the replay, like, oh yeah, that's why you keep that guy, right? We've talked about it. He's a tough son of a gun. So glad we were able to keep him in there. But all right, we all know what everybody came to see. We all know why everybody tuned in for the first half, the first quarter, is to see JD5, and he did not disappoint. He did not pass. Now he had the little jet touch sweep, or whatever, but no passes. But he did run, Will, and he did score a touchdown, so shout out to him. But I think you and the rest of Washington are sitting here like, no, okay, all right. How are you feeling when you saw that, man?
So I was fine when he took off. First I was like, don't run. Okay, he's running. And I was like, but then he started running. I'm like, that's fine. But when he cut right and cut back up the field, I was like, what are you doing? Like, you had the first down. Just go down. Just go down. And I love the interview with Lisa. He's like, I wanted to score a touchdown. And she's like, yeah, but everyone in the stadium held their breath. He goes, yeah, but then they cheered because we scored.
Right, exactly. And funny thing, speaking of that interview, I think the coolest thing to see about that interview was you see him in there, and he's trying to have the interview, he's trying to, be professional, and then all of a sudden you see him turn around real quick and start laughing and come back and turn around again, and then you see Bobby Wagner come in the back, right, and just kind of doing one of these numbers, and he's just saying something to him like, hey, yeah, stay professional, come on, you know what I mean? And you see him start laughing and stuff, but the respect that a future Hall of Famer has for our quarterback in a preseason game, but also that camaraderie, that was a sight to see. I did enjoy that for sure.
Absolutely. No, I mean, they seem to definitely have a bond, and that's important. I mean, they're going to be the leaders of the team. So if you got that so quickly, that is huge. But the running game looked pretty good.
Yes.
Jaden does not need to ever do that again, so we'll see you
against
the Giants.
Right.
You're done. Don't even need to wear your street clothes on Saturday against the Ravens. But I saw that. I laughed at the very first play on offense, the jet sweep to Debo, because was it Troy or Joe? One of the two said during it, they were like, that Cliff was asked, hey, now that you guys have Debo, you think you're going to use him like San Francisco did? He said, nah, I think we're going to use him as a wide receiver mostly. Very first play.
First play. I love it, and it's a funny thing. That's what we all wanted to see. We wanted to see the gadget. We wanted to see what he did, and have that kind of run. And he's another one that bounced off a couple tackles, pushed it for a first down, and you're kind of like, okay, oh yeah. And I remember I was there, I talked to somebody else in the chat where I was like, okay, I'm good. You can come out now. I saw what I needed to see from him come out. But to your point, the run game showed up. And Rodriguez having that big run, Bill Krosky-Merritt having that touchdown run. That's something that if we want to try to take pressure off of JD5, we need to have a solid run game. We came into this game talking about needing to see something from our running backs. And I'm going to be honest, that first drive, those first two drives, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we already had the conversation. And let me back up here for a second, Sean. Earlier today, you and I went on and talked about some of the news, and I think we were on the same page, and we weren't exactly in love with this idea floating around that Brian Robinson is going to be traded.
Yeah.
I don't know if the team is really missing Brian Robinson right now. And I hate to say it that way, but Rodriguez looked really good. He got first crack at, replacing him. He had a great run there. He's had a couple great runs against some other backups, but I would expect that. And then Bill did what they're looking for. He broke it and he took it to the house. And that's exactly what they want to see.
Yeah, and to your point, it definitely makes you kind of sit here and say, Brian who? Like, we're good. And we know Rodriguez can do this type of stuff. You obviously at Kentucky in the SEC, you've seen him run all over the place, and then Krosky-Merritt getting in there. And one of the things I loved, and you start to see that camaraderie on the sideline when Krosky-Merritt scores that touchdown. Number one, JD5 goes out there and makes sure that he gets him the football for his first, ever touchdown in the league. But when Krosky-Merritt comes off the field, Jeremy McNichols grabs him and hugs him, and you see him just talking to him saying, yes, keep this up, keep that hard work, keep that, keep grinding out there. You're doing something good. And that, I mean, we talk about it all throughout the team where you have those veterans, those guys that, some of them are starters, some of them are, just backup guys. Mariota is one of them. But they still impart that wisdom and talk to the younger guys, and they're kind of building them up. So that was huge to see all around. But to your point, over 100 yards, 130 in the first half with 2 rushing touchdowns, that's going to take pressure off the quarterback and definitely help move the run game, the offense. So I liked what I saw from that regard. Now, Will, talk to me. We didn't see much passing, so we can't really judge wide receivers that much. Jalen Lane got a couple receptions. Osborne and McNichols also got a catch. So there's not really a lot we can judge. Obviously, I was trying to look at McCaffrey, but I'm not even sure.
He played,
I think he played.
He wasn't. No. I was about that because we talked about the guys we wanted to see, and I didn't see. I had a big old offer on my guys to watch because Trey Amos didn't play. Kaz didn't get the opening kickoff. Demetric Felton did. And then I was like, well, I want to see Ja'Cory Brooks and see if he gets passes from Jaden. He didn't get out there. Nope. So my guys to watch was a big flop. But yours of Luke McCaffrey was one to watch. And Osborne had a catch or two. And mostly even when Josh Johnson came in. But Osborne got open. Jalen Lane made 1 or 2 receptions. Luke didn't. And I mean, we don't need to overreact right now to this stuff. There's nothing to say that they're scheming routes and all that kind of stuff to get guys open, but you gotta hope that's happening because you're just not seeing it in front of our eyes. Right.
And we'll see. And maybe, I think one of the things that actually benefits him is the fact that he does know the offense. Another year in the offense, like Jaden said, the best thing to happen this offseason for him was that Cliff stayed. So you have another year in that offense. Maybe, Luke will be able to get himself in during the season. We all also know how injuries work. But, yeah, to your point, it didn't look good. It didn't look good. I mean, I was looking for anything. Give me a good block. Give me a good quick pass. Give me something. But we didn't see. We're most likely going to see a little bit more action from him in the second half. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But one other thing on the offense I want to talk about, and now mind you, Cincinnati doesn't have the best rush defense, and obviously Hendrickson wasn't in there. But that O-line, I mean, those guys, they were creating holes. We know Tunsil, Coleman, those guys aren't in there. That O-line was dominating the Cincinnati D-line. And I believe in those combined in the first two drives, we had like an average of 18 yards a carry. You know what I mean? Mind you, that's two big runs, and that was only a total of, 7 plays? Because I think the first drive was 4 and the second drive was 3. But still, the fact that we are gashing them. What do we talk about with B-Rob? He doesn't have the ability, that explosive ability to break away. And we saw that in the first 10 plays of the game. And we got to credit that to the O-line and what they were able to do in this game. And I'm going to tell you something. That was something. You know how I like my O-linemen. That was something that really kind of cheered me up. Like, all right, we can run behind these guys. I like that.
It's what we talked about a couple weeks ago when we said the positions that have gone from a negative to a positive. And the fact that you got an Allegretti as a backup guard, you've got an Andrew Wiley as a backup tackle, you've got a rookie in there, Connerly and stuff. They have improved the talent and depth along that offensive line incredibly. Yeah. You saw Chris Paul was in there at left guard, so I think you got a real good chance that he's going to make the roster. We were wondering who might be offensive lineman number 9. And so you're right. They did a really good job out there. Now, I will say one thing. We got some problems at backup center, though. Tyler Biotish can't get hurt. They were putting Julian Goodjones snapping it because Dieter was at right guard, and maybe that was just, this is a preseason move, but a concern of backup center is still a little bit of a concern right now.
Yes. Because we know last year, when we had injuries, especially in the center and middle of that O-line, our run game was stopped, was shut down, and that we know that put everything on Jaden. And we cannot continue to ask Jaden to do all of this stuff. We got to have that running game with it. So, yeah, to your point, that's something that we should definitely keep our eyes on. Let's flip it over to the defense. First and foremost, Joe Burrow played 3 drives. And 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken, weren't even with Chase and Higgins. Like, Higgins and them were on the sidelines. Okay, Cincinnati. Like, what were you thinking? I'm sitting here like, are you serious? I don't even want you in the game right now.
Well, especially when they had that very strange third down sack where Joe ran for his life all over the place. Like, that was enough for me to say, get him out. Right. Especially when he didn't just, chuck it. He ended up getting sacked into the end zone and all that kind of stuff. 3 guys pile on him. It's that's not what we needed. And then the very next drive, he gets slung to the turf by Dietrich Wise. It's This is not what they need. I wasn't sure if they talked about how Zach Taylor wants them to start better. Cincinnati has started the season slow the last 3 seasons. And if I wasn't sure if he was working with some of the guys that are going to get a chance to catch passes from him. They talked about the guy. I can't pronounce the guy's last name. It starts with an I. It's Yasavich. I don't know. I can't say one. I can say Igbenogany, but I can't say his. Right. So I don't know if they just wanted to let some of their younger receivers get a chance to, work with Joe in a live game. But that was an interesting decision. Yeah. But I'm going to let you go first. Who was your defensive standout in the first half?
Well, what I was looking at? I was looking at Reeves before, and he was able to get a couple of tackles, and I'd like to see that. But for me, I know this is kind of a cop-out, but what did I say before the game? I wanted to see an improved performance overall by the defense. And I go to that first drive, and it took them 2 fourth-down conversions to get it. But, we were right there with them. And we didn't have all of our starters, but we were holding them in check. And you take out that deep ball where Ignati, he kind of just pulled Chase, and you take away that pass interference. And who knows? We might hold them to a field goal or whatever. I will sit here and say it. I don't know if you said it or you're going to say it. This is one of your guys. But I'm going to talk about your boy, Quan Martin. That tackle that he made at the goal line when that tight end was just, it was quick out route. He was ready. He could have turned right up, and Quan made that solid tackle and drove him back. There's another one, like the Reeves hits I was talking about last week. That's one that got me up out of my seat. Like, okay, all right, I like that. And to be honest, the safety play, Reeves, or the whole secondary, Nagahi, having Butler come up, Quan Martin, those guys are really coming up, playing close to the ball, but also doing well in the secondary. And I was impressed by that. But yeah, that's who I focused. That's who I was. That really got me. Who impressed you?
I mean, honestly, I think the only answer that I can think of is Quan. I mean, he made the plays that got you remembered. But you're right. There was a whole lot more inspiration out there.
Yes.
The guys were trying last week, where there was some of the same guys were out. We had a lot of people sit, but there were still some guys out there that against New England that played against Cincinnati, and it was a different look. Maybe it's the fact that a few more starters played, like Luvu's out there. And you think if Luvu's out there, you're going to allow to dog it? Guarantee you, he doesn't allow that. So that was good. I was watching a little bit of our defensive line, looking at the pressure they can make from the interior. I really think the team is going to focus on the interior guys either occupying space or pushing that pocket to allow some of the speed guys to come around. I liked the sack by Jacob Martin. He was a guy who had said, "Hey, this is the opportunity for someone to step up," and he's the guy who got credited for that sack on Joe Burrow on the second drive. But Quan was the one. He made a couple like plays out there. You're like, "Ooh, he's getting noticed." So I'm excited. Obviously Joe Wood Jr. is excited for him, so I'm very excited to see what they do with him.
Oh yeah, and I liked what I saw from Joe Witt Jr. I mean, he didn't throw everything out there, but there was a number of plays, especially when Burrow was in there, that you saw they were coming. They were coming. Even on that fourth down where Luvu jumps offside, you knew they were. I mean, it was a zero blitz. Like there was no safety up top. It was man coverage all the way around, and we're coming right after you. So, I love his energy. I love his excitement, but I need you to control that jumping offside, Luvu. But that is also Burrow, so Burrow, might have been able to snap and get a hard count. But that's something that I really like. That okay, Rich, I know it's preseason, but this is also kind of a dress rehearsal because this is the last time the starters will play until the regular season. So let's get a little heat. Let Burrow think. And to your point about when Burrow is running around and scrambling back and forth, it's kind of like good. Yeah, I like that. Let's give it a little heat. And I'm going to talk about somebody that you did say, that you talked about before, Deatrich Wise. Now, mind you, the one sack got taken away because it was called a horse collar. I get it somewhat, but I thought kind of his play, getting in there and kind of after, being elsewhere and then coming back here, him getting in there, getting in some action and showing out. Kinlaw, both of them getting their names called every once in a while. Yeah, that's what I have to see. I want to see. I know what the stars are going to bring to the table. I want to see what some of you guys that we brought in are going to bring. And they look like they were playing hungry like the rest of the team.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. It was nice to kind of watch those and they kind of get you excited for the regular season. I thought Farrell, number 99, got himself noticed out there making plays. It's kind of, the preseason is good because you got to learn new numbers. 3 is our new safety, Will Harris. I'm like, who is 3 out there running around? He was covering some tight ends and stuff, and Lattimore's wearing 2 now. So that kind of helps to to figure out who are these guys that are out there. But no, you're right. It was the defensive line made a lot of plays out there, and that was good to see.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will say, we didn't get a large sample size of this. Like we didn't get to see the kick. We only got to see, I believe, 1 or 2 punts. But that opening kickoff, I had shades of a week 10 days ago against Patriots because he busted through the middle, and I'm going to be honest, he was probably one more block away from taking it, and it didn't even look close for a while. Like he busted through untouched almost. So we got to address that. We actually have to address that. We know how much we've been touting our coverage team on special teams, and obviously Tress Way, but that if at the very least it's switching up field position, it's giving them half the field. So we've got to get on that. Shout out to Yankoff, was it Colson Yankoff, who's been showing up. Got the hair kind of flowing out there. Makes me think of a Patriots player or something like that. And he came down and laid the wood on some dude earlier in the ball game. But yeah, that we gotta get that down because this is not the best return game we're gonna see this year. And we saw what happened, in the beginning of the first game. So yeah, that's gonna be something I'm keeping an eye on.
I'm gonna push back a little bit on this only because Matt Gay was not doing a full run up to kick it.
Yeah.
So I'm almost
like
he was only kicking it to the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
So I'm almost wondering if that is by choice to force the special teams to do something as opposed to booting it out of the end zone. Like, you're right. We can't have that in the regular season. Like, that guy almost broke one again, But I wonder if that was more like, let's get ourselves some work, let's tackle, let's see, show me who can make plays on special teams. And that's optimistic Will is bringing that thought process out here.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that. Yo, shout out to people. We got some people watching. Janae Struther said, y'all looked all right tonight. Oh, we look good. I know you nervous, Janae.
That's her complimenting us.
Exactly. I said, no, seriously, 5 plays and y'all look damn good, guys. Yeah. Dallas needs that Cincy wideout out. I definitely don't think they'll get rid of that guy after both those touchdowns. Oh, Tinsley? Oh, absolutely. And Janae, you'll love this. Tinsley came from us. He came from Washington. So, he was able to get there and it says no with a smiley face. All right, laughing. So, yeah, no, it honestly, all in all, much better performance from a week ago. I mean, the team is night and day. What a difference 10 days makes because we look like we're ready to play. I'll disregard those last 2 touchdowns. One other thing I will want to talk about, Sam Hartman. Since that shoulder injury, he really has not looked good. His first pass almost got picked. It would have been taken back for pick 6. I mean, Josh looks professional, but I mean, when you played 16 years or something for how many different teams, I would expect you to look professional in preseason. A la Chase Daniel, who was my preseason MVP every year, and then never translates to the regular season. But nah, Sam Hartman, man, I how much I like him, but he might have to go. He's not making the cut.
I mean, we talked about this about being worried. I'll say this right now. Mariota is recovering from some type of injury. I don't know if it was knee, shoulder. I think it might be shoulder. If Mariota is not ready to go for the regular season, we already know that Josh Johnson is going to be the number 3 quarterback. Right. But if Mariota is not ready to go and he has to start the season on injured reserve, we're only keeping 2 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Hartman should ought to be happy if they say we're going to keep you around on the practice squad, because honestly, he's shown enough out here to say that we should go looking at who gets cut as a developmental type quarterback for the future, because Hartman doesn't look it at all.
No,
he may need to start his head and shoulders modeling career.
I'm saying he has another career out there. He could really. I mean, I'm telling you, the ladies love you. Okay, just sit here and just slow motion swing your hair left to right, and then you'll be good. All right, buddy, because you ain't cutting it right now at QB, and it's frustrating to watch. Second half, I believe it has actually already started. Washington, Matt Gay kicked a field goal. It was 28-17. Anything you're looking for in the second half?
My pillow.
Yeah. Right.
Don't watch the second half of preseason games. That's why I was yelling at Alex on the other chat. I'm like, who did Tinsley catch those balls over? Right. I don't know, some cornerback. I said, exactly.
Exactly.
I don't watch no. I mean, I applaud you for staying up and doing it, but no, I will not watch that number, the roster number 55 and 56 players go up against each other. No.
Not happening. So yeah, I'm going to try to watch the rest of this game, but I fear that it is exactly like you said. Those guys that will be working at Taco Bell, who are just giving a jersey because the team's being kind and they need some bodies right now. So we'll see what happens. But look, this has been your Washington Commanders halftime report. Halftime is now over. Definitely stay tuned for that. Next week on Saturday, it will be our last preseason game. None of our starters will play. This will be everybody who's trying to make that roster cut against Baltimore here at home. Definitely tune into that. And then the regular season is upon us. And I cannot wait. Cannot wait for it. Got a little taste of that tonight. But all right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. For my buddy Will Kramer, it is your boy Sean Spencer. Hey, we'll see you guys next time. And you already know how we do. Left hand up, people. Peace.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington